It's preparing to live stream the meeting.
Okay, yes, you are now streaming live on YouTube.
Go for
So
it.
welcome everybody to our new speaker series. This is the Green Valley Recreation Camera Club. And we have a speaker every month, the third Thursday of the month at 1:30 p.m. And what I need you to do now is mute your microphone if it's on. It should have a red slash through that so that we get better reception for everyone. And also, if you're not the presenter, stop your video. The same thing. It should have a red slash through it so that we can get better reception of our speaker today. And with that on, also let me mention to you, you can see this on YouTube, perhaps better than you can see it on your device, your laptop or your computer. So if you have YouTube available, say on a television, you might want to try that. You can control your volume of this on your own device with your up and down arrows for volume. So our presenter today is our Camera Club director, Gene Komaromi, and Gene has a great presentation on Kindle the Fire. It's supposed to get you all excited. It's already got me all excited about what you can do with your digital photography skills, how to develop them, how to share them with other people. And he's got lots of neat little projects that he's going to show us. And with that, one other thing, at the end, you'll be able to take a poll and Gene's going to present that to you. In the meantime, if you have a comment or question, you can put it on chat. Check your little chat box. And at the end of the presentation, Gene will look at the chats and see what he can do to answer your questions. So please now, Gene, let's hear what you have to say. On with the show.
All right, we'll get you. Hang on, I'm sharing.
Check those two little boxes.
Check those two little boxes. You're right. Hi, I'm Gene Komaromi, and I'm the educational chair for the Green Valley Recreation Camera Club. And I want to welcome you this afternoon to our December 2020 speaker series. Now, this is an interesting welcome because I'm the speaker. And what we're going to talk about today are personal projects in photography. We've all been locked up with this coronavirus. Everybody is just chomping at the bit to get out of the house and to do something photographically. And I think probably many of us need some stimulation, some ideas, some suggestions of things that we can do photographically in the near future. So this afternoon, we're going to give you some ideas about things that you can do. We're going to watch a short video with Stacy Pearsall, who is a retired combat photographer, and she is working on a personal project called the Veterans Project. And she gives some tips and some hints and some things that all of us could do to work on personal projects. And when we're finished watching her little video, we'll take a look at some projects that Camera Club members are doing, which may give you even a little more inspiration. Now, I'm sure at this point, the question that is on everybody's mind is just what is a personal photographic project? Well, by definition, a personal photographic project is a collection of photographs or videos that have a specific theme, purpose, relationship. The collection, the project, can be shared in various formats, from multimedia to print collections. Now, I do want to ask everybody who's viewing this speaker series on Zoom to bear with us a bit. The GVR Camera Club has limited experience with Zoom, and so we'll probably make a few bleepers. But when we finish, you still should have an idea of what a personal photographic project is, and hopefully the desire to make one of your own. Before I agreed to do this speech on video project, I have to tell you how I was inspired. I took a class at Creative Live from a lady named Stacy Pearsall on doing photographic projects. I was so impressed with the woman and what she has done that I decided that would be a great topic to share with everybody at the Green Valley Recreation Camera Club. So I think maybe we should start the whole speech with a quick little video from Stacy explaining what her project was and giving us a few insights into how she did it.
I don't know, but you may have a smile in there, right? Somewhere? The Veterans Portrait Project started for me as a way to prove to myself that I was worthy of something still. We're gonna take a couple, so bear with me here. As a combat photographer, I was a photographer to document them, but inherently I became part of the story too. So I tried to kind of show or convey my emotions through my pictures too, in some way by use of light or shadows or any sort of emotion I could. It was one night, we were out with a unit and an improvised explosive device went off and pretty much destroyed the striker in front of us, and we were ambushed.
Stacy earned a Bronze Star for heroic action under fire, but she also sustained serious injuries that abruptly halted her military career.
It was a really painful time, and I did not want to admit defeat because I had been fighting my whole career, literally and figuratively. I really relied on, during my recovery, keeping busy and showing myself that because the military said I couldn't do photography for them anymore did not mean I could not do it for myself.
It was during her recovery at the VA hospital that Stacy was suddenly hit with an idea.
I was sitting there for many hours waiting for my appointments and talking and speaking with many of the other veterans. Just hearing their stories, a little bit about them and their time in service. And I thought, well, maybe I could start bringing my camera and making portraits of them. Can I make your picture today? And over the course of the year, I ended up getting about 300 portraits. I'm gonna fix you up, okay? Your bow tie up just a hair. Tilt your forehead that way, just a hair, good. And I want you to look right here on the top of the camera. You like it? That's how it kind of flourished from there. I got to meet a lot of veterans with some extraordinary stories. Some, Mickey Dorsey, who was part of the liberation of a concentration camp. Somebody like Maria, who's been to Afghanistan and Iraq. Or somebody like Joe, who's a Vietnam vet. And I thought, if I can't be a combat photographer, then maybe I can at least share their stories because they're so extraordinary. I mean, I still kind of like to think of it as each individual portrait being a tribute to each singular person and not just veterans at large.
I went up to have the picture made, and initially I wasn't really sure what would become of that. And then later, when they were posting the pictures on the wall, it dawned on me that, wow, this is going to be a permanent exhibit.
I'm there with a whole bunch of people that have with backgrounds from all sorts of walks of life that have served their country and served here at the VA.
I think the faces of veterans are changing. We associate veterans with maybe our grandfathers from Korea or even our fathers and uncles from Vietnam. But I think of the military as sort of a slice of America at large with so many cultures and so much diversity, and that's what I really wanted to share with everybody. Now you have a beautiful smile. I want to get that going on. There we go. That's beautiful. Good. If I have one message is to never focus on the things that people tell you you can't do, but rather the ones you still can accomplish. I like that one actually. It's really cute.
Yeah, that's nice.
While I didn't anticipate it becoming a way of giving back, it's kind of funny how things evolve. I would like to give back to veterans because we're all brothers and sisters sharing in the same sorority and fraternity, which is the military, and there are no boundaries or borders or zip codes when it comes to that.
So why exactly would you consider a personal project? Well, one reason is you want to give something back to your community. We've had some of our members who did a get a picture of your dog with Santa for a local animal rescue. We had one of our members who did a community portrait of all the people living in their community. You may have a charity that's doing some special fundraiser and you want to make a commercial or a public service announcement for it. Giving back to your community is one of the main reasons for doing a personal project. Another is to put your unique skills to work. You have talents. You may be able to produce multimedia presentations. You may know how to use portable printer to do pictures. You may know how to do stills that will then record an event or an activity with a community group, a religious organization, or a club you belong to. You can be their special event photographer. You might do a personal project just to share a feeling you have, to do a concept that you want other people to become involved in or to be aware of, or to record a special event. You might do a personal project to air a pet peeve. You might do a personal project to share social chains. You can share other things, your own personal life events, community activities, personal family histories. There are an endless number of reasons for doing a personal project, and Stacy Pearsall mentioned a few of them. I think some ideas are coming. I hate to make presentations and speeches like this where I tell you how to do things. I'd much rather show you some things that you can do. And that's what I plan on doing next. We're going to look at a couple of short video clips from members that kind of are like Stacy Pearsall's project of doing something special, serving the community, of getting a point across. The first one I want to show you is one that I made about the COVID virus.
It felt like I was working in a war zone. So today was the first day that I've worked since our unit was designated the second COVID ICU in my hospital. And I don't know what the has happened for the past 13 hours. Honestly, guys, it felt like I was working in a war zone. Completely isolated from my team members, limited resources, limited supplies, limited responses from physicians because they're just as overwhelmed as we are dealing with a ton of other stuff. So basically I just spent the last 13 hours like treating 2 critically ill COVID patients on the vent basically by myself. And this is my new normal for the next however many months that it takes for this virus to die down. So like I'm already breaking, so for f***ing sake, people, please take this seriously.
I just want to tell everybody, take a look at our videos, stay home, stay safe, and take care of yourselves. Now, let's move on and take a look at some personal projects that were made by club members. The first one we're going to look at is probably the most personal project I've seen yet from one of our members. Sherry Lucha made a video in memorial video to her son who has passed away. And I think it is absolutely wonderful. We've also left some of the commentary from the multimedia special interest group on at the end of her short video so that you can get an idea of what others thought of her video.
Hey, this is Linson. I'm probably working or donating plasma or something, or maybe sleeping if you're listening to this.
Okay, thanks. I got some.
Very nice, Sherry.
What a nice tribute, Sherry.
Yeah, that was nice for you to share with us. Thanks, Sherry.
Music was really upbeat. It's nice.
I like choice of music for the end part. Yeah.
Well, I think memorials and things that we save from those that have passed are really important parts of Camera Club, that being able to be a good photographer and put it together, certainly, that we don't share much. And in Green Valley, particularly because of our age, it seems to be something it's useful for our members to see how that's done.
I got a quick one for you. A couple months ago, I shared a interview from Tombstone about the Shiflin Days that was coming up, which was actually this past weekend. We interviewed one of the guys who was going to, as a promoter of the event and organizer. And so anyway, they had the event over the weekend over in Tombstone. So I was over there on Saturday and shot some stuff that we can help them use for next year. And so what I did yesterday was I put together a quick little video, just kind of a thing to show people, hey, if you weren't in Tombstone this weekend, this is what you missed. So that's what this is. It's about 2.5 minutes.
You may want to do a personal project with less lofty goals than the things that we've shown you so far. You might want to do a personal project just to have a good time, to sharpen your photographic skills. And when you get the project done, you can share it. You share it with a local camera club, a community center, a library, an art show. Sharing your work and sharpening skills, two big reasons why you should do a personal project. You kind of get the idea. You can do a personal photographic project just to have fun. And you can do it on a whim. And it may still be very interesting. I have a short video from a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. And he kind of gives you an idea of some things that you can think of, some ideas that you can kick around that might help you make your own personal project in photography.
You should start a photo project. In this video, I will tell you why. Hi there, I'm Peter Forsgaard, an Olympus visionary and a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. But let's start talk about photo projects. Sometimes we all have times that we don't find anything to photograph, and that happens to all of us. And some of us think that buying a new lens or getting some new gear will change that, but I will tell you it won't. It will maybe boost up your motivation for a short period of time, but in the long run, the only thing that makes you happy are the photographs. And starting a project will give you those photographs that will make you happy. And it also will give you a purpose to make those images. Of course, you could only take random photographs every now and then, but that won't give you the satisfaction in the same way, because that is photographing random things without a purpose in most cases. But of course, sometimes just taking images of anything or just random images can be very pleasing. But in most cases, that won't give you a long-term satisfaction about photography. You don't have a path on your photography if you just take random images every now and then. But having a project gives you the purpose. And there's also one great thing about starting a project. You start seeing more, which leads to more things to photograph. And that is a really big thing. And I think I just gave the biggest reason in the beginning of this video. I started a project a few years ago where I started to make images of coffee mugs that I saw everywhere in the city. Even though Helsinki is one of the cleanest cities in the world, they're everywhere. And here are some of those images. These images of mugs does not have a deeper meaning. I'm not saying that a purpose should mean that you have a deeper meaning. The purpose can be just to have fun with photography and have some kind of path to follow when you have a project. But of course, these images of these mugs can raise some questions. Who left it there? How was the coffee? Where did the coffee come from? And why it was left right there, the mug? Somebody moved it there, or it's just the wind blows, or what has caused the mug to be just right there? Because some of the mugs were in quite funny places. But what happened when I was making these images of mugs, I started to see a lot other things. As I said, Helsinki is one of the cleanest cities in the world. Still, there's a lot of garbage on the streets. And all of a sudden, when I was photographing the mugs, I started seeing garbage. And here are some of the images of that. Yet not a very exciting project, and I can proudly say that now I've shown you some images that are totally garbage. But what really happened is that after taking those images of those mugs, you start seeing other things. And it doesn't matter what the project is, you start seeing other things. And this is something that Arno Rafael Minkkinen, a Finnish-American photographer, once said, "Let the camera help you to find those images." And that what exactly happened to me when I was taking the images of the mugs. Then I saw the garbage. And then all of a sudden I started seeing shoes all over the place. And I think I found something more interesting than the mugs or the garbage. These images raise even more questions. Whose shoes are they? Why are they there? Where did they get the shoes? And what is the story of the shoes? Where have these shoes been before, now that they are there? In that sense, I think the images of the shoes are really interesting. And of course, the project can take for years, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can, but it doesn't have to be. You can have a weekend project, photographing something during the weekend. And that could be your project. You can have a project every month. One weekend you dedicate yourself to a photography project and photograph something that you find interesting. And maybe something that you saw in the previous weekend. Would the camera help you to see something else? You should try that sometimes. It's really rewarding. This is something that I did during a weekend a few years ago. reflections are everywhere, very easy project, and a lot of fun too, and reflections are interesting. You can get really interesting images. And then I want to give you a tip. After you started your project, it's always important to pick the best ones. And I have a really good method how to find those images. Let's say that you have a project of photographing cars. And the first time you go out there, you just started the project and let's say you take 30 images of cars. And you come back and you upload them to your computer, then you start, picking up the best ones. Okay, let's say that you pick 5 best ones or 10 best ones, it doesn't matter. Mark those with stars or color codes or whatever your method is, and then move them to another catalog and save the rest in that catalog where they are. And then next time you go out and make images of cars, you upload those into the same folder that you previously did and start rating those images and pick, let's say, 5 best ones including the old images and the new ones. Okay, and then move them back to the folder where you have, let's say, 10 best images now. And let's say your goal is to get 20 really good images of cars. Every time you go out, do the same thing. You pick the best ones from the whole group of images and move them to the best ones. Once you have those 20 images, don't stop there. But then what happens? You start to take more images, and if you get a better one than those 20 so far, you will ditch the weakest image and replace it with a new one. And if you do this many times, all of a sudden you might have totally 20 different images than you originally had. And if you do this for many, many years, you might have really, really strong images of cars. And I don't mean that the project has to lead to a big exhibition. Your exhibition can be your Instagram account, Facebook, Flickr, Twitter, or whatever you choose. And sharing those images can be your exhibition. But of course, there might be a local library, there might be a local camera club that will be happy to show your images. And in that sense, that could lead to an exhibition, which is always a lot of fun to have an exhibition. That's really something. And before I get into the big announcement, I will show some of my car images that I've taken over the years.
Here's one idea for a personal project. How about a photo or a photo collection or a multimedia presentation on a guilty pleasure or guilty pleasures? We all have foods and activities we love, despite the feeling that they might not be held in high regard. Perhaps your guilty pleasure is an ice cream filled donut or binge watching reruns of your favorite sitcom. Collect images of your guilty pleasures, and that will likely bring you some humor and levity, knowing that these items are a part of you, but they don't necessarily define you. Here's another idea for a personal photo project, and that is to create a public service announcement. The goal of public service announcements is to educate a specific audience about issues, concerns, and possible solutions. The COVID PSA that we showed earlier is a prime example of a public service announcement. I can think of another project that's really a lot of fun. It's called the 5 Stranger Project. You have to take portraits of 5 strangers. It's tough and quite challenging unless you're a people person. Avoid candid shots. Ask the strangers to pose for a moment so you can take their photograph. It's not only a good project idea, but it helps you in developing good people skills. One final project idea. It's called the Random Word Project. It might sound weird, but it works, and it's fun. You pick a random word and see if it's any good as a photography project subject. This is one of my favorites. among my personal photography projects. Some of the projects in this category I'm doing are sleeping, reading, conversation, various games. So we're trying to get back online now. We should have video, audio. Okay, there we go. Phil, can you get me highlighted? Oops. There we go. It takes a second for this to kick on sometimes, so you kind of have to bear with me. I'm going to turn our poll, see if we have any polls in here. You know what? I just need to ask you a very simple question. Did you have a good time with this? Did you get anything out of it?
Looks like you're good, Gene.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was good, Gene. Because I wasn't sure. We've got everybody at home and they're stuck in with this god-awful plague, complaining about things to do. Now, most of you don't know it, but you've just gotten an email while you were watching my semi-canned presentation with notes and ideas in it. It's probably about 4 pages long. It's just full of all kinds of stuff that you could do. So take a look at it later. It should have gone to your email address. And there's just a lot of things in there that you can experiment with. You do a project or play around with a little bit. The GVR Recreation Camera Club is really the obvious place to go to share that project. If you haven't been to Showtime, most of the people who go to Showtime are truly sharing a photographic project. Take a look at the scavenger hunts that Linda Gregory does. I see Linda up there on top of my screen somewhere. Hi, Linda. They are the perfect place to share some of your photographic projects, particularly if they fit into that category. And we have others. Big delay to the TV, but I did a good job. Well, thank you. I'm reading chats on the side here. If anybody has anything good to say. It's just kind of interesting. We used to be able to share our prints at all of the GVR recreation centers, couple restaurants and other places. But with the COVID in place, we have not been able to do that. But I'm quite sure in a few months' time, certainly by the end of the summer, we'll be back to sharing prints everywhere. I didn't want you to think that to have a personal photographic project, it had to be multimedia. It was just convenient for me to pick up some multimedia projects that people had done and show you, so you could just get an idea of what I'm talking about by a project. I have 2 or 3 in mind. I'm going to do Ghost, you guys. I watched Travelogue. How many of you been to Travelogue? That's a beautiful place to go. It's another place to show off a personal project, although most of the Travelogue projects are, of course, about going somewhere. But I got a couple ideas the other night when I watched Travelogue, and I said, you know, it doesn't have to be the traditional Travelogue project where you say, oh, here's the mountains and we stayed here overnight. No, it could be something completely different. So this summer, I'm going on a ghost tour. I'm going on the haunted highway in Michigan, and I'm going to find some ghosts and film them. So it should be interesting. When I heard some laughing back here, it should be interesting. We get back in the fall. I want to put those together, and we're going to have a haunted travelogue. Should interesting ideas. I want you to get some ideas. So, and I want you to do some projects and get to work on them. Really simple things. We have one member who I just talked to yesterday, and she took a couple of glass baking dishes and she poured a little bit of olive oil in the bottom and some food color and some water, and she shook them up and she took a series of pictures with her camera on macro. and you would think you had entered another universe. I mean, they were just beautiful, completely different project. I looked at that one that the Swedish guy did on cars, and I'm thinking, my God, I'm from Detroit. You realize what I can give that man in cars? So I don't know. That's kind of the presentation. I just want to encourage everybody to do a personal project. Now we have the big winter camera class coming up, photography class coming up. And this year, projects is going to be part of the class because of our inability to get in and do large lecture classes. We are going to have 5 basic lecture classes that are going to be repeated and shared on YouTube. And then we're going to have a string of smaller ones. And at the end, we're going to ask everybody who participated in the class to do some kind of photo project. And those who do a project are going to get a reward. And we're going to give them a certificate. I think we're going to make them a photo guru or something like that. But it should be interesting. Stressing the projects is the way to go. Does anybody have any questions? You can turn your mic on. It seems like we're not having a problem with that. For those of you who haven't done it, you can click the mic on and then touch the space bar to shut it off. Or you can, if you're muted, you can touch the space bar, talk. And when you let go of it, it will shut you off.
Can you show your Christmas project? Your Santa on the rooftop? Come on, Gene.
I think you're muted, Gene.
Yeah, you're muted, Gene.
I have no idea whether I can find it or not, Holly. Scarily, that's one that I don't even want to think about. Let's see. No, I don't.
It's so cool, though.
Well, no, I don't have it very handy that I can maybe anyway, we'll keep talking and figure it out. I have my forte in doing videos is to do little smart aleck videos with things that are just tongue-in-cheek. And so I had tried to capture pictures of Santa Claus. I will share the link with everybody. It's on YouTube and we can find it there. I'll share the link with everybody. You can watch me catch Santa Claus up here on my roof. It's kind of interesting. Oh, I hear laughing up there. Thank you.
Gene, the Veterans Project reminded me, and I don't know whether very many of the members that worked on this project are still around or in the club. Ron Stein, I know, did it, but we did a World War II Veterans Project of Green Valley World War II veterans it has to be, wow, more than 10 years ago. And we ended up photographing probably just under 250 vets from Green Valley. And the project was really fantastic. We asked them to bring, if they still had one, we asked them to bring a photograph of themselves when they were in the service. And then we got some personal information from, well, their rank and where they served and so on and so forth, and then got some personal information. And then and then we took their picture that day. And we did this at the American Legion over by the Animal League. We started getting mostly men that were doing this who had saved mementos of their time in service. One fellow had his POW card from when he was a POW in Germany. And I mean, it was really an amazing project. It was fun to do. I think we didn't couldn't do more than like 30 guys at one time because it was a lot of work. There were a lot of people. I was running the scanner to scan their photographs and their mementos and that kind of thing. And then I kept the record of all their information and the number. And then I processed the photographs. And several years later, just an aside to this, several years later, I met a fellow in a support group, and I said, "Oh, I know you." And he looked at me and he said, "I don't know you." And I said, "You participated in the Green Valley Camera Club's World War II Vets Project, and your name is," and his mouth just fell. And I said, "I spent a lot of time with your photographs, so I know you." It was a wonderful project. And later on, I got calls from people who wanted copies, and then I put them together into videos. And so there are probably 10 videos that are on my YouTube site. I have 2 for some reason, but anyway, and it shows the progression of each person. But I get calls from some of the family members when their service member died. They wanted to show the video at their memorial service. So it wasn't just, they weren't just shown on YouTube, they were used in other venues as well. It was just a wonderful project.
Wow. Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, there are immense possibilities of things that can be done as a community project.
Yep.
Bob Puddock is or maybe is a Camera Club member, and he and the cheerleaders from the University of Arizona about 5 years ago photographed the surviving people from the battleship Arizona and took all the pictures to Washington, which was just a great project.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that serious or that complicated. There just are wonderful things out there to take pictures of.
Yep. I do a project every summer. Unfortunately, didn't do it this summer at the Animal League. The Animal League has a youth intern program. The kids are called Yips, and they do a lot of the jobs, or many of the jobs that the regular wintertime volunteers do. But of course, they leave, so those jobs still have to be done. And I photograph all of them and put them together. I do still photographs and videos, and I put them together in a slideshow that they show at their graduation party. And it's really fun. And I get to know, and I get to see some of the kids I've seen for several years in a row. So I get to watch them grow up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was kind of what I hoped to entice people into, was to just get involved and think about a personal photographic project. And if you're working on one and you need some help, share it. Let us know. Drop me an email note. The places to go for help within the Camera Club are incredible. You can go to the Multimedia SIG on Mondays. There's a black and white special interest group that you can go to. On Monday afternoons, there's a photo art and studio SIG, which will give you a lot of help. Just good stuff. Go there and ask for help. If all else fails and you need help on how to use your camera, I always send people over on Fridays and I say, "Hey, go see the Rebel Wars. Those guys will help you." There are just other things in the club in terms of help. Let me know. We ought to be able to find you something.
Are you going to do the survey, Gene?
Oh.
Can't hear you.
I was hoping we could do a poll, and I had previously set one up, but it doesn't like it. So we'll have to experiment with that again. I was just going to ask people how many of them thought they might actually do a personal project. That's our big thing. But I can send everybody out a questionnaire. That's not a problem either. All right, I guess, let me see if we have any questions that I didn't get on the side. Thanks for the great idea. Showtime's good, short presentations. Where is your awesome office?
That's good.
It's so good. Don't have an awesome office. We're laughing. I have a corner of my bedroom that I do all my video stuff in, and it looks absolutely terrible in terms of the background. It's just a chair and a wall. So I found out that Zoom allows you to do these fake backgrounds, virtual backgrounds behind you. So then I went to Pixabay, which is a site you can go to get free pictures. And I got this picture of this library because if I won the lottery, that would be my lottery. I'd have that library behind me. It's cute. All right. Anybody? Yes.
That was good.
Thank you.
All right.
Well done.
It's great you were willing to do a speaker and inspire people to get busy with those projects.
Yeah, I hope we do. In fact, we'll get back with everybody and start nagging folks and see if we can't get some through the newsletter and some other stuff. Has the last Showtime been loaded up to YouTube? Yes, it is up there on the Camera Club site, as far as I know. And a couple of people, 3, 4 people said they had projects.
What?
I just wanted to say that we have Showtime, Travelog, speaker series. We have a multimedia. I think we're going to have another one. We're trying to put as much stuff to the site. If you go to our YouTube, notify you every time we put something there, or when there's a live session right now.
I don't know what's happened to the audio, Phil, but you were very broken up.
Yeah. Well, Zoom isn't exactly the greatest platform on earth for this, but it's what we got. So every now and then we get a glitch or two here or there. But in general, it worked for us today. We got away with it. So
Susan Hill will be back with us. She did a presentation last year in Speaker Series, and she's our January speaker, the 3rd Thursday in January.
right.
Same time, same place.
And in case you guys don't know, she's going to do one on the Playboy models of Victorian age. So it ought to be interesting.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody.
You say goodbye.
Bye.
Great job. Happy holidays, everybody.
Hola, Holly.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Feliz Navidad.